Every day, the newspapers, the TV, internet news are filled with stories where personal self-interest seems to win out over the common good. As a priest, I see a world in which religious faith sometimes appears much more oppositional than transformative. The challenge for mothers and for fathers, for families and priests, is to be able to make decisions and choices with reference to God's love and God's all-embracing mercy. So often that love and that mercy are put on the back burner. For myself, during this week, I listened very carefully as I read over that gospel, listening to Jesus say, "I call my sheep by name, and they follow me." Following Jesus is what each of us is called to do. And if we listen within our heart, we can hear the voice of the shepherd call us by name. Following Jesus is what we are doing here at Christ the Servant Parish. How we do that is different for each and every one of us. It's different for you and me. We are called to use our gifts and talents in order that we can follow Jesus and that we can live His way of life authentically. What does this have to do then with our real world? Following Jesus has everything to do with the real world. It has everything to do with the streets of Canton and Youngstown or wherever we happen to be. I am not called to walk where He walked. That would be in Nazareth, Galilee, or Jerusalem. But I am called to walk as He walked. I am not to live where He lived, but I am called to live in the way that He lived. Applying Jesus' way of walking and living to our lives can be done 100 different ways. And there is a way for each and every one of us to do so. Jesus gives us the model. Jesus was never too poor to give. He was never too busy to help. He was never too tired to love. For this is the man who says to us, "Follow me." And it has to be more than a general challenge or a generic one. It is a call that is tailored to each and every one of us. Very specific, very up close and personal. And He calls us by name. Follow me. The 2001 Annual Bishop's Appeal for Catholic Charities and the Church is a concrete way, a very concrete way, of being able to follow a way of following Jesus. It's a way of walking the walk and talking the talk. Today, I'm very privileged to ask Mr. Bill Strominger to please come forward and, as a long-standing parishioner of Christ the Servant Parish, he's going to address you and speak to you about the importance of the campaign and the importance for us here at Christ the Servant to be able to listen to our name being called and be able to follow the Lord. Bill.
Thank you, Monsignor. I'd like to have you be with me for about 7 minutes in your thoughts. I'd like to tell you a story that when I heard it, I was pretty shocked. A single mother walks into Catholic Charities office. She's looking for help caring for her newborn. Caseworker provides formula and diapers for the mother to care for the baby. After leaving the office, the caseworker forgets something for the mother and runs to her to follow her up. There she finds the mother drinking the bottle of formula. Stunned, the caseworker realizes the situation is worse than she thought. She brings the mother back into Catholic Charities office for further assessment and a trip to the emergency food pantry. Well, good morning. Maybe that got your attention just like it did with me. As Father mentioned, my name is Bill Strominger. My family and I have been members of this parish for over 23 years. I am co-chairing this drive with Joe Skubiak and Kevin Sherwood, who's sitting up in the balcony. Today, Monsignor has asked me to talk about the Bishop's appeal for Catholic Charities in the Church. Catholic Charities has several programs which reaches out to all the needy in our community. Mothers with small children refer to the First Step program run by Deb Campman, who happens to be a member of this parish. Here, young mothers are not only given formula and diapers for their babies, but offered classes in child care and finances. By the way, if you've ever seen the baby bottles in the back that we ask you to fill up, those bottles support this program. A woman comes to Catholic Charities asking for help for her father. He's 89 years old, lives alone, and has memory loss. His water has been turned off. Catholic Charities works with the family to get the bills paid, the water turned on, and assure future bills are also going to be paid. A young couple comes into the office looking for help. Their water also has been turned off due to employment difficulties. There's a baby in the house, and guess where they give it a bath? You got it, at a gas station across the way. Catholic Charities Emergency Assistance Budget provides for people in need, giving not only food and shelter, but probably more important for all of us, dignity and love. By the way, I did not make up these stories. They're true. They happen here in Canton. It's not a big city away from where we say, that's the problems in New York or Los Angeles. But they happen right here. And thank God for Catholic Charities on 30th Street and Cleveland Avenue. I'll tell you another little story. Catholic Charities also runs an adult daycare center in St. Joe's Catholic Center in Louisville. Gives a break to the caregiver, often a son or daughter working full-time, as well as provides an opportunity for senior citizens to have some social interaction outside of the home. And the King will say to them in reply, "Amen, I say to you, whatever you did for one of the least of my brothers, you did for me." The annual Bishop's Appeal for Catholic Charities in the Church offers all of you as Catholics of the Diocese of Youngstown an opportunity to respond to Jesus' teaching in Matthew's Gospel by helping all those that we know are in need. 60% of the funds raised in the appeal are designated for Catholic Charities. In Stark County, this is well over $500,000. We're proud of the way they stretch their dollars. I'm amazed at how the caseworkers can get the bang for the buck that we all want by negotiating utilities, working with other agencies, going with and negotiating with the Akron Canton Food Bank for food. It's incredible how they stretch our bucks. The other 30% of the funds from the appeal are designated for diocese missions. These diocese programs promote family life, the formation of youth and young adults, the sanctity of human life, and religious education. As Monsignor mentioned, the Good Shepherd taught us that we should do and help all those in need. And in fact, we're doing that through the Bishop's Appeal. Now, I'm not going to stand up here and say you didn't go through one of the worst times, probably financially, that you've ever had. You have made incredible sacrifices during these economic times. You've had to make some tough choices. And no doubt about it, this also is a tough choice. But I want you to know that all of us that have worked with Catholic Charities in the past can guarantee you that your dollars will help many people. Last year, there were 54,000 of them in our diocese alone. In your pew, there is an appeal commitment envelope, but you also should have received in the mail, as I did a couple of days ago, nice letter from Msgr asking you to please consider a donation to this worthwhile fund. Our goal as a parish is $64,220. As you can see by the thermometer on the back, we're halfway there. Let's get the other half and even exceed it if we could. We're asking every parish household in the diocese to consider a minimum of $12.50 a month, which equates to $150 a year. If you can give more, terrific. We'd love it. But we'd like all of you to consider to be part of this appeal. If you could start passing the envelopes to those that don't have them, you can fill them out now, and we will pick them up when I do the collections in a few minutes. I want to thank Msgr Gaetano for the privilege of addressing you. And I'd also like to thank you in advance for your generosity. I know it's going to mean a lot to the people of this area. And may Jesus, the Good Shepherd, bless you for hearing his voice and changing one life at a time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bill. And as Bill mentioned, we can't do everything ourselves, any one of us. But when we work together, we can do all things, and nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible with God. I ask you to please respond as generously and with your heart.